Don't kill my mellow and don't trash my vibe is the phrase of the day, sponsored by Sesame Street, Palmolive, and Parmesan cheese. Hey, so I don't know how your 24 hours has been. Mine's been pretty rat-a-tat, like a machine gun, and just been trying to fight just to keep up. I think we all get that from time to time. You know, you have a job that's very wearing. Not speaking about my specific job, I'm talking about one's role in life, professionally and personally. You know, you get to the end of the week, even though, and there is an argument, isn't there, that we should be having 4-day weeks. You know, the pandemic brought on this massive question about flexible versus hybrid versus remote versus in person versus time spent versus UBI, universal basic income. What does life look like anymore? I don't know. I don't know. If anybody came to me asking me for advice on life, I would be like pointing at mirrors and going, ask that guy. He'd give you a good answer. Talking of life, today's convo is all, well, apart from the fact that we're going to do the usual, welcome to Copy Shop Live, at Dave Thackeray on Twitter, dave@wordandmouth.com, or get me on LinkedIn, or right here on YouTube or Facebook, or wherever the heck you choose to spend your time. That's where I'm going to be. Aside from that, I did mention in the title for this episode that it was all about being more human. It was a conversation I was having yesterday with a few people about with this and maybe I have diluted or gone too specific with the title for this daily weekday 8 a.m. show, sometimes lunchtimes, depending on how I feel and whether I've got time or whether you want it or not. You know, if due to public demand, 12:30 p.m. seems like a reasonable time to bounce back on air, because we get to go live with you fantastic people from America, you late nighters from Australia, and the I say normal, the regular people from the UK, because they don't fit that classification. Typically, I am one of them, so I know what it is like, and I can only console and empathise with you. That's how it is. But being human, yeah. So I mentioned something on LinkedIn yesterday about how you cannot make an algorithm smile, and that followed on from an article that I put out there after a chat with a great guy I used to work with called Alex Waddington. We were talking, and he called it a riposte. I'd call it a polemic, but that's fine. About, you know, all this pandemonium about AI, and AI is going to hoover up, trademark, all of our jobs, especially writers, because, you know, you might have heard of GPT-3, which is this algorithm that has gone out there. They call it machine learning, but let's be honest with you, it's just got computer eyes, and it looks at passages, thousands, millions of passages of prose, and regurgitates it in a different format when you just sort of cue it with sort of 10 or 15 words and say, it was a dark and dreary day and John was walking down a miserable misty alleyway ... and it will carry on the story for you. I think that's how the script for Selling Sunset were put together. Actually, you just find a tiny little computer in the corner and go, there are 6 or 7 very highly strung estate agents in a much too small office with 2 Napoleon syndrome dictators in the corner barking orders and basically giving all the leads to the favourite Mary ... right? Finish the sentence, finish the paragraph, and if you just at the same time knock me up 4 award-winning seasons of Netflix TV, that'd be a bonus. And what happened? So clearly computers have got a place in life. But this whole thing about algorithms can't smile. I didn't intend this to be a sort of a sequel to the rant, but let's roll with it anyway, because let's be honest, who wants to see me write about products and look at people that have been generated by AI? It's a perfect circle. Synchronicity. Synthesis. I like that word. So I was thinking about this and I'm like, okay, well, communications is about relationships. Fundamentally, whether having a one-to-one relationship like I am with you now, because let's be honest, who else is going to watch this crap? Having this relationship with you, or we're having a relationship via a newsletter, or via a sermon in a church, or via a conference, a bit like Boris has been doing and Sajid Javed have been doing this week with the old Omicron stuff, one to many. But everybody at the receiving end feels like you're chatting to them directly, don't they? I mean, I do, when I'm watching Bojo at his podium telling us about all the, gloom and doom and how Christmas is cancelled again, theoretically, hypothetically, probably not. I'm not wanting to cause hysteria or panic here. That's for him to do in maybe a week's time. But I feel like he's talking to me. And so whether you're talking to a brand or whether you're talking direct to a person, you don't just want that one interaction, you are expecting answers. And this is why 10 Downing Street has now introduced the Voice of the People feature to these press conferences, where initially it was the press says, so you've got somebody like Laura Kunsberg coming up and asking the Prime Minister questions because they're mates and, it's softly. But now they've started introducing sort of random people from members of the public, peasants like myself and yourself, to ask questions. So it gives it a sort of a degree of authenticity, but it also gives people a chance to talk back. And the problem with AI is it's that uncanny valley thing where you're going to speak to an AI and they're going to give you something that resembles a human response, but it isn't, and it's clear that it isn't, and it can't be, because it isn't one, and it hasn't got emotions. And I do think people are, as we see more and more examples of AI and chatbots become more and more prolific because customer service teams are too lazy to talk to people directly, that people are going to feel a little bit offended, but that's a different word to the word that I'm trying to use because I can't remember because it's early. But I think they're going to be like I don't really like the fact that you're making me feel like a second-class citizen by having an algorithm pretend that it's a person and talking to me. So we're not just talking about the recorded pieces of communications like written text, like videos that you've made. If you're watching this after about 8:20 on Thursday the 2nd of December, then it's a recorded piece of information. We can't have interaction, and you know that you're not talking to me. And I think that's the same way as people are going to feel about things that are surfaced by GPT-3 or just AI in general. And even though it feels like a great fit, the more communications we do in real time these days, the less valuable AI is going to be. Deepfakes and stuff have already shown us a glimpse of what life would be like under this nightmarish regime of always on AI and computers that lead communications for companies rather than humans. And I think that humans are going to be more and more important and not less and less. Loads of arguments, loads of chat. We can talk about this at some point. But you've come here expecting to hear about being human, and so therefore that's exactly what we've done. Right, I'm going to share my screen because that's what we do in this world, ain't it? And I'm going to. Let's go with that. This means, obviously, the downside of this is that, and I had a couple of people pitching in yesterday to this conversation, and Jan and Sam, you know who you are. Jan popped in at about just before 8:30, and Sam came in at 9:25. Just be mindful, of course, that this is probably only going to go on for up to 15-20 minutes in the morning. So if you do come in late to class, then there will be detention. And I'm afraid you guys have got to be here at 7:45. That's 7:45 a.m. in good British pence every day next week. And you just have to come in and sit down and just do your homework. And then we'll be starting as usual at 8 o'clock. Hope that's all right with you. Great. Okay, so let's have a look. First of all, this is Terry. I'm sure you've seen Terry before. Let's make him big. Let's make Terry big. It sounds like a campaign, doesn't it? Oh, Jesus. You can get hotkeys, can't you? Maybe I should use my hotkeys. Very jowly. You can tell the passage of time has not been kind to Terry. But we don't want to talk about Terry today. I've got a new random product Isa today, which is still all about I love this. I'm feeling primey. If Amazon caught sight of this, I'm sure they'd shut it down. But if you don't tell them, I won't. We're not going to do the Thermo Pro digital hygrometer, which is used and applicable indoors, because you'll think I'm cheating. And who wants that? So let's see what the product's going to be. It's an ice pack. Okay, so we've got Terry. We're going to say goodbye to Terry because Terry was pre-existing as a robot. Tear his skin off, and it's just metal and very ill-informed screws underneath. Let's recite the return key and see what comes up. Okay, great. I've had a lot of it's been multi-sexual. Actually, in times past. So this is Sue, spelled S-U. And while I'm here, I'm just going to remind you of something that I've never said before. Sarah Brazendale, an incredibly good friend of mine from work, recommended yesterday. We had at lunchtime a brief bit of bants about stimulation, and talked about podcasts, and talked about books, and talked about Netflix, which is, what more is there to life? And I mentioned that I come to the realization that I find most fiction trash. I can't get on with it, get to the first chapter, turns me off. And so I said, I think after I've read a lot of stuff like all about how German soldiers used to get absolutely smashed off their tits on this drug, beginning with P during the Second World War, I really like these books, a bit like Dan Carlin's Hardcore History podcast, which I thoroughly recommend. I like the passion-driven non-fiction pieces. Not an awful lot of them. I'm not really into that sort of navel-gazing autobiography line of work. I'm much more into the things that happened or people who were transformed, but not autobiographies. That's not the groove. I prefer the biography approach, if anything, because at least you get a fairly sort of objective viewpoint. Maybe unless they've got a point to prove, with Walter Isaacson and Steve Jobs and stuff. But whatever. But by and large, you can find good biographies or just accounts of things that have happened that are intriguing. And Sarah came up with a book called Nothing to Envy, which is by a woman called Barbara Demick, or Demick. I like that, like Debbie Moore, but with a CK on the end, and it's a surname. She was a correspondent, I think, with the New York Times, posted out to cover there, and spent a lot of time in South Korea talking to people who'd run away from North Korea about their experiences and what it's really like to live in North Korea, because North Korea is a bit of a no-go area really for foreign journalists and indeed foreign people, and you have to be escorted all the time by bodyguards, one that keeps an eye on the other to make sure that they're not being bribed to say things that they shouldn't. Really weird, right? Barbara goes in there and talks to people. Do you know what? I'm hooked already. So massive kudos, Sarah. Just checking to see. Great content, Mr. T from Claire Newman. Thank you very much. It's lovely to see you. Anyway, we're here with Sue and her ice packs today. So we've got to try and do something remarkable here. So let's just get the evidence. So Sue. Okay, right. So Sue is having a Winter Wonderland party, and this again is inspired by Selling Sunset. So last night, Christine got married in a black dress, shimmering under some fake snow that was kind of real because it was cold, and all the guests didn't like it very much. They were like, I've come indoors, it's probably in the middle of winter anyway, I want to stay warm, and what are you doing but spraying iced water all over me in my posh party frock? Don't do that again, girl, or as Christine would say, ho. So I'm just thinking. So this is great. So Sue is into car camping. She also hates the idea of running her freezer non-stop, because she's got one of those plumbed-in numbers to generate ice, and also despises going to the supermarket to buy bags of ice because that plastic, man, it's crazy. All them fish didn't ask for none of that plastic. It's insane how insensitive we are. So you've straight away, we've got three use cases there, and if we talked about the whole idea of so we've got the call to action, we've got the hook, and right in the middle we've got the content. So these fabulous ice packs. Do we dare go a little bit more in depth? Oh, look at the reviews. 6,200 and 726 of them, which are written by our GPT-3 loving bots. They work great, keep my lunch cool. Okay, very disappointing. Mixed reviews, because we are human after all, and somebody's clearly got a grudge. But with their lunch, keeps my lunch cool. So this is good. So cool lunch. Got a cool lunch on the go? You have now. Right, okay, so that's good. Let's see what else. So what's the make? Keeps cool for hours, man. Fit and Fresh. Wow, what a great brand. Fit and Fresh. Don't forget that the plus sign is important. Brands get very petty when you use letters instead of symbols. Much as I'd like to kill the ampersand, I know that some people find it quite important. Right, so this is a quick one today because we're 8:16 already. Thanks for joining. I want to just finish off with looking at some of the features to see if I can convert them into sizzle, not sausage. So slim ice packs, great. So very convenient and compact. You know, I'm going to start a narrative in a minute, so stick around. Compact design, they are slim and compact, just like me. Long lasting, okay, well, yeah, that's it. So long lasting, not only in terms of staying cool, but also durability. Anything with ability on the end, or ability is a good thing this day and age. Healthy and safe, okay, so BPA free. I don't know why that's important, because I don't imagine that you'd want to be popping one in your mouth. Mostly therefore cool boxes, aren't they? Cool bags. We are Fit and Fresh, okay, designed by Sue. So clearly women are have now completed their mission to take over the world. The last thing to fall from a manufacturing oh god, we use that. From mansplaining to manufacturing was ice packs. Now women rule that universe too. Put simply, women have the best taste. Therefore, when you want the best taste, you need to shop Fit and Fresh. I'll move this up because you can't see that. What's the point? The company's new, we're going to assume here it's not, obviously, because it's got 2,767 reviews, but ice. Why can't I remember the word pack? New ice pack is what? No, that's when I start doing things like this about. Right. So, when you're on the move. These ice, I won't go into that. I won't type the brand. Again, it's no relevance at all. When you're on the move, these ice packs will keep you cool. Strap them to your forehead for instant results while running a marathon. I mean, you could be tongue-in-cheek, couldn't you, about it? So I'm just going to sort of finish off, because these are sort of notes just to get you thinking. I'm not writing a full advert. Nobody's paying me for this. You're not paying for that. You don't deserve all this, but I'll give it to you because I like you. So we talked about personas yesterday, about how Ozzy Osbourne and Prince Charles are very similar in terms of they're both 58, they both live in a castle, they're both very wealthy, they've both been divorced. Just goes to show that personas are bullshit. However, so from Sue's point of view, Sue is style in itself. She loves to go rock climbing. You can tell, can't you? Look at Sue. Will you look at Sue? When she's without the Tiffany earrings, she can't wait to get herself onto a lofty peak. So she loves to go rock climbing. Takes a picnic bag on her back, and wouldn't be without Fit and Fresh. And ice packs, remembered it now, to keep everything cold while the rocks are hot. Okay, so the narrative simply is the world's warming up. Time to cool down. Do your bit for yourself and the planet, 'cause it's BPA free with Fit and Fresh. Thanks. Packed. What's wrong with me? Lots of stuff there to go at, and I've always said this is really a draft to start us thinking, but there's so many nice little lines here that you might have come to this thinking, okay, not really interested, to be honest, because stop sharing that. Yeah, bring me back. You might have just thought, well, okay, this is just ice packs, and this is just our friend Sue. Why does it matter? Are you going to write stuff about this? I said yesterday, whenever it comes to clients and talking to people that inspire me the most, they're the people that don't have the stories to share, right? Nice that, Claire. Thanks for that. It's given me a bit of a buzz. That we all right, aren't we? We all right. It gives me a buzz when I speak to people. Like I've got a chat next week with somebody about a potential gig in environmental risk management. What the? But straight away, simplifying the message, bringing the personalities in the organisation to life. I always do that. Whenever I go to places, I'm like, okay, well, who's you got working with you? And there'll always be somebody sat in the corner, the shrinking wallflower who's got the most to say from inside their head. They don't necessarily want to verbalise it, but they've got so much great idea generation going on all the time. These are the people that you need to put a tap on and turn it on and just get yourself a glass of their ideas. I think that would work a treat. Nobody, if I can do really bad communications here, nobody can't do communications really, really well. I'm adamant. That's why I've got 2 drum kits. You've been great. Thanks for joining me. We've done loads of fun stuff today, and I've gone over as always. Have yourself a great day. Love you, and we'll see you tomorrow for the 3rd of December's edition of Copy Shop Live. Talking about I know what. We'll have a person randomly generated and we'll have a product. And if you've got any copy challenges or celebrations, because tomorrow is Friday, at Dave Thackeray on Twitter, get me on LinkedIn, get me on YouTube, get me on Facebook. Let's start the conversation. And for now, bye. See you.